Hello, everybody. Quant, Visa, government bonds, and even topics of derivatives. Where did this all originate? Well, if you haven't done so already, smash that like, hit that bell notification. Let's just jump right into the material, what I have. So, check this out. This comes straight from Visa. And what you're going to see right here is definitely worth pointing out, to say the least, because when we get into the weeds of all of this, I think, if anything, you will see how this plays out, and more in particular, key people from the UK government going into detail about what is happening here soon, and more importantly, what is the next step moving forward. We got our little timeline when it comes to calls to actions or Gilbert Verdian's final warning, if you will, moving forward. But man, oh man, I thought I'd bring this to your attention because it definitely caught my attention as well. Shout out to Quant Papa for some of the info in regards to all this. But Visa Developer Center has this posting about a Visa tokenized asset platform. Like it says, enable blockchain tokenization technology for use by financial institutions to help power new payment solutions. As we get further into it, here's a particular clipping that he has, and you see how it all kind of comes together. You see, for example, end users, client apps, client app infrastructure, again, middleware. Look at this. And more importantly, gateway credentials, a two-way SSL, and an XPay token. You see what goes on in regards to number 1, 2, and 3 about a Sandbox, API, visa.com. You get where this is going. But as we get further into it, on this next particular highlight, API-based integration, like it says, allows for banks to mint, burn, transfer fiat-backed tokens in a secure manner. VTAP provides the necessary infrastructure through a single set of APIs for access. Think about that. As we get further into it, check this out. Because, we have to have programmability, but again, understand the middle part. The middle part talks about blockchain infrastructure, and again, emphasis on what is being utilized, emphasis on permission EVM compatible blockchain for what? Initial testing. For example, use cases to allow clients to get comfortable with major functionality. VTAP expects to do what? Provide interoperability with additional blockchains based on what? Supply and demand. Of course, we need to have a custody solution. Wallets have to be involved. But as we get further into it, again, look at this. This gets very well into the weeds of things because, again, that highlight through an API layer that connects to blockchain. So clients can access this VTAP in a non-value sandbox and do what? Offer the whole thing of different tokenization use cases. Yeah, we see how this pans out. Now, to get to where I was going with this, if you were to go over to Lord Holmes' LinkedIn, Lord Holmes is a member of the UK House of Lords. He's a speaker, advisor, get the drill. But further down in his post that he posted 12 hours ago, talks about Bank of England, talks about Financial Conduct Authority, but more importantly, DSS, Digital Securities Sandbox. As I scroll to the bottom of this, talks about the deputy governor, the bank's deputy governor, I should say, for financial stability, Sarah Breeden, and she gets into an explanation about the DSS in this particular video. But again, this to me, I was talking about this with you guys a while back, over the course of a few months now. We have gotten this timeline, call to action. This is the next link in the chain, okay, when it comes to call to action. So this is no surprise. Check this out. I'm going to go ahead and play this video. It's only 2.5 minutes. Listen to this. It gets really, really good, worth paying attention to. Here we go.
The way in which financial securities like shares and bonds are being recorded and traded is changing. Many financial market firms are investing in technology like blockchains and programmable ledgers that might, over time, better support those financial markets. Given these changes, the Bank of England and the Financial Conduct Authority have launched the Digital Securities Sandbox, or DSS, An exciting new joint initiative to support the application of new technologies to promote innovation in financial markets. The DSS will provide a regulated live environment for innovators in this area to create and trade these digital securities so that opportunities created by this innovation can be maximized in a way that keeps our financial system safe. We'll apply flexible and proportionate regulations created specifically to facilitate this activity. Flexible rules allow us to make adjustments as we learn more to support the safe development and implementation of these technologies. Capitalizing on new technology could have great benefits. It could improve the efficiency of processes involved in trading and settlement and introduce more automation. Those small efficiency gains could have a large benefit in aggregate. And by making financial activities faster, cheaper, and more straightforward, these changes could help market participants like pension funds or companies that use capital markets to finance investment. Those potential benefits can only be realized if the technology is implemented safely. The application of programmable ledgers in finance is still relatively new. Implementing it in critical financial markets could be risky. This is why the DSS will have several stages with limits that change as firms meet higher standards of resilience. Developing regulation in a sandbox is a first for the bank. It provides a unique chance to test and adapt the regulatory framework as we learn from innovators testing different business models in the sandbox. The DSS will welcome startups as well as existing financial firms. Taking this approach means we can shape a new, permanent regulatory regime that's innovation-friendly and fit for purpose, and importantly, without compromising financial stability.
Okay, so right to the point, right? Check this out as well. I'm going to pull this up. This is from Ledger Insights. As we can see right here on the screen, plain as day, 11 hours ago, you had the whole thing of capital markets news, right? And she did mention some things about capital markets. So UK opens applications for digital securities sandbox. Again, back to the whole thing about the DSS. But when we get further into this, check this out, because it says the bank emphasized that the rules in DSS are flexible, allowing the regulators to make adjustments as they learn more. Financial instruments considered in scope include equities, corporate and government bonds, money market instruments such as commercial paper and certificate of deposits, fund units and emissions allowances. Derivatives and cryptocurrencies are excluded. Now that part, it's like, well, I thought they were included. Well, back to the whole thing of, for example, Quant not technically labeling themselves as a cryptocurrency. It is what it is, but as you also see right here, the DSS lays the foundation for market participants to realize these benefits. Again, never forget some of the participants, because if anything, you have to have a safe, regulated environment, and importantly, it needs to put the UK in a strong leadership position when it comes to tokenization. And here is your moment, because guess what it says? Quant CEO Gilbert Verdin, with the EU having already launched its DOT pilot regime, it is vital that the UK does not fall behind in this new era of digital finance. Back to the call to action. That's where it's always been, and again, where it always will be. But to see this solidified in a reference to the one and only Gilbert Verdin, I think speaks volumes about all this. Now, another thing that was mentioned was this other thing in regards to gilts. Some of you guys don't know what gilts are. I thought I'd just give you a little brief definition. Gilts, also known as gilt-edged securities, are government bonds issued by the UK government. The origin comes from gilded edges of the certificates that were historically issued by the Bank of England. But the point is, gilts are indeed UK government bonds, and they're issued to help finance like public spending. And yeah, interesting to see some of that. But like you also see in some of the pictures here, they're low risk, low yield investment. You get the gist of it. All right, check this out for a second. Here's another thing. we did mention Visa. Some people are going to reference like, well, does Quant really have anything going on with Visa? Well, we've been there and done that, but I want to respect there's new people here. So from a somewhat recent publication from Quant, R3 and Quant, as we know, support the publication of UK Finance's UK Regulated Liability Network, aka the RLN, experimentation phase report. But as you can see right here, this I think dates back to just a few months ago. Yeah, September 17th. Actually, it was early this month. My bad. You see plain as day about the infrastructure platform. Again, digital solutions, financial markets, Quant, like it says right here, and the digital finance pioneer welcome what? Publication of the results, of course, of the UK Finance's RLN network project. And of course, plain as day, you see Visa part of that list. All right, gets even better. Another reference, this particular citation from Quant.network, the programmatic path to programmable payments, pragmatic, I should say. August 12th, last month, posted by Gilbert Verdian. And we have reference to Visa? Yes, we do. Because again, this is all aging well. And it's not just Visa part of the mix, many other ones part of the mix. Standard Charter, Virgin Money, you get it. But again, as of recently, this call to action to see what has been posted, and I'll share the screen again, in regards to Visa Tokenized Assets Platform. Because to see how this is going to be used, the tech is going to be used for financial institutions to help power new payment solutions, well, that leads to other things. And what could be those other things? Well, when we talk about Visa and some payments, we got to have settlement. So there's a regulated liability network, and of course, there's the regulated settlement network. All right. So shout out to Greg Lunt, does an excellent job covering Quant. But this age as well. This is from March, everybody, of this year. He references some things in regards to Visa, MasterCard, Wells Fargo, so on and so forth. I've done it too. But you see Visa on that list, and the call was around the regulated settlement network. Again, all this is aging well. With Q&T in mind, he listened to Swift discuss their interoperability solution featured in the proof of concept. And for context, plain as day, what does it say? RSN is a shared ledger being developed in the US to settle tokenized commercial bank money, wholesale central bank money, US Treasury securities, and what everybody, other tokenized assets. So interesting to see all this, and especially with the whole thing of what's going on with the UK. And again, back to that, because when we talked about what you saw literally right here about Visa Tokenized Asset Platform, VTAP, and clients can access and test VTAP capabilities through an API layer that connects to blockchain infrastructure and utilizes Visa developed standard for issuing fiat-backed tokens. Jump back to what Greg literally references here, because it's an excellent outline of how this all ages well. Because again, understand that you have key people here that mention that we have to have a solution, and that's where it's at for all of us. Q&T has already confirmed itself to be the interoperable backbone for the RLN in the UK, but the inspiration from which the RSN itself was originally spawned. How so? Here's a little bit of the reference. I've shared this before myself. And again, understand, you even have the whole thing of RSN, you have the US POC hypothesis and design assumptions, but bottom right, and if anything, I'll blow it up a little bit more on the screen. Bottom right talks about what, everybody? It talks about this. The RSN FMI will look to be interoperable with other networks to allow for settlement of other regulated cash and assets through an interoperability solution or direct API integration. What is your answer? Your answer is this. Wow, my goodness. And that's interesting to see that, right? All right, check this out. It gets really, really good, because when we were talking about some of these key dates coming up, again, back to this reference, and I shared this to you guys before, but back to the whole thing about that relay rule book. Swift references some of this stuff. Streamlining payment initiation with the relay rulebook, and more in particular, the importance of this period. And like it says, It's a process that needs to be completed by the end of the coexistence period of November 2025, because to demonstrate readiness, you can inform counterparties of your readiness. And basically, it's a call to action in regards to ISO 20022 mandate. Again, the orchestrator is Quant Network through ISO TC 307. So jump more into this. Check this out, just in case some people are still questioning this. From this PDF, you have this discussion paper, and what does it say right at the top? ISO 20022 for unifying fintech, and boom, towards the bottom, plain as day, talks about how ISO Technical Committee 307 Blockchain Distributed Ledger Technologies was developed in 2017 to do what, everybody? Support interoperability and data interchange among users, applications, and systems. And like it says, in an ever-changing, fast-paced fintech marketplace, these committees emphasize the heightened importance of common standards and, of course, their adoption. And check this out. This is new. I didn't see anybody else post this. September 24, 2024, you have this from New Zealand. Meet the new members of the Blockchain NZ Executive Council. Spring brought a fresh beginning at Blockchain NZ. They're excited to mention some of the newly elected members, and more in particular, you have this particular person that I want to get into, because this guy, his name is Marc Krisjanous. Pronounce that right? Firm believer in the power of blockchain tech to empower individuals, cutting out unnecessary intermediaries and value directly to people. He has extensive background in information security. Marc has led efforts to ensure decentralized applications are as secure as they are transformative. Why is he important? Well, look at some of these things. Marc has been instrumental in shaping the cryptocurrency certification consortium C4 auditor program over the last 3 years. And he co-authored this thing called CCSS implementation guide for a full system. And what does he sit on? Yeah, you read that right. He is recently a New Zealand, member of the ISO TC 307 committee. So interesting to see this. And then, of course, thought I'd bring you this, and I did listen to it before I bring it to you guys. Listen to this, because some of you guys are worried about the doom and gloom about CBDCs. Everything that we saw from the UK, all right, this call to action, this whole thing of, for example, what we got going on in regards to Visa and government bonds and even derivatives, and they're excluding crypto. Are they? Aren't they? The bottom line is this. Is this good news moving forward? Listen to somebody that literally is part of ISO TC 307, a newly elected person, because literally last June, he was part of this thing called Future Fast, where this particular guy, Marc Krisjanous, predicts the future of IT security, blockchain, and crypto. Yeah, a lot of times there's people that we don't even know about. Check this out. This is not too long, about roughly 5 minutes. We'll come right back and wrap it all up. I'm telling you flat out, pay attention to Q&T. Something is going on that a lot of people aren't talking about. Here we go.
Thank you.
So what's your perspective on the future of security in this cryptocurrency world?
I think for me, there's two things that I'm quite interested in following. There's one where central bank digital currencies is quite a hot topic right now. You see governments around the world wanting to not have their own currency jeopardized by these internationally digital currencies or stable coins, right? So I think that the governments around the world will at some stage implement.
Nearly 135 countries are going towards that.
Yeah. And I mean, for New Zealand, in their discussion paper, they plainly put it that they believe that stable coins are a risk to the stability of the New Zealand financial system, because it will devalue the fact that you can trade digitally New Zealand dollars when you have these stable coins where you can basically, there's no Forex, there's no financial transactions involved. I can send you USDC and you can send me USDC, and there's no intermediaries, there's nothing. And I think that central bank digital currencies will come in more and more. We'll see that come in more and more. I think the key concern is obviously privacy. The things is that, the central bank digital currencies, they can find out how much money you have. They can actually take all that money away if they believe that you're doing criminal activity. Those are the things I think that the governments will really need to convince their people that they're not going to do that. Because at the end of the day, this technology can all be controlled from a central organization, and with the power to control how these central bank digital currencies flow around. So that's one thing that I'm looking at, and but I do believe it will come in at some stage. The other thing that I'm quite interested in is how do you end up regulating decentralized finance? Because decentralized finance is something where I think a lot of the passionate cryptocurrency enthusiasts believe that this is going to be the last bastion point where regulation cannot touch them. They've seen that your Bitcoin, your Ethereum, all your centralized exchanges and so forth, they're all controlled by one entity, and they're all ending up being regulated. And that's, for me personally, that's a good thing, because at the end of the day, when you've got the average Joe Bloggs who comes in there and wants to be part of this Web3 space and puts their hard-earned money into this environment, that they need to have some type of assurance that there's accountability for when things go wrong, just like in the normal legacy finance world of banks and so forth. You're not going to get mainstream unless you actually have some type of assurance that there is accountability. With DeFi, because supposedly no centralized control, and I'm talking in very novice terms here, but at the end of the day, someone is going to make some money from providing this platform. And I think that the regulators will work out a way in such that the people that provide this decentralized service, or they look after the code, or they make a margin from these transactions, they will be the ones that will be identified and held accountable. It's a very touchy subject, but for me, personally, I just think about the end user and how they need to have assurance that these things are above board. The other thing too, where regulation's still going to be coming in, is that we don't want to have some type of financial mechanism that enables terrorists and criminals to be able to launder money or receive proceeds to help their terrorist activities. You just can't have that in the world where no one can touch this payment mechanism or this financial channel. It is quite a concern. So I think regulation of DeFi will come in. What I find interesting is that how they're actually going to be able to regulate this. But I think ultimately, when they identify the people that actually code it or get benefit out of providing this service, is the ones that the regulators will start looking at.
Okay. Wow. Nice to hear somebody that is actually from ISO TC 307. By the way, if you're new, that is the Quant network standard, the foundation for building on blockchain. As we get further into the last part of this outline and when I'm bringing it to you guys, check this out, because some people ask, well, where did this all start? Great question. I've referenced this in the past, but again, I recognize there's a lot of new people here, and that's fine. Welcome to the channel. I'm glad to have you here. This from Coindesk.com. It was about a policy, UK to cooperate with crypto industry on legislation for digital securities. Dates back to December 20th, 2023. But again, this ages well because government said its plans for a digital security sandbox, DSS, were largely welcomed by respondents. And who do you see here? Well, it's the former UK Prime Minister. And understand that Rishi Sunak wanted the country to become a crypto hub, right? Now, here's the thing. There was designs that were put into motion in regards to the whole thing of the DSS, and he was welcoming some of this. He was part of the whole thing of the HM Treasury. And what gets really interesting moving forward, because as we know, he's no longer the prime minister, it's now Keir Starmer. But the point is that seed was planted, and check this out, because everybody wants a reference to some of this, and boom, Gilbert Verdin, great to see my ex-colleagues at HM Treasury support fintech and financial services, a critical sector to drive innovation and growth for the UK. Rishi Sunak. Again, they work together. Why? Because Gilbert Verdin, he's already done it all. He's got like over, 20 plus years, 25 at this point, in regards to cybersecurity and so on. And what does it say here? November 30th, 2021, the UK's leading fintech and financial services industry is vital for our future economy. And basically speaking, like in this video, there's a reference to it. And I'm going to go ahead and play this because, man, did this age well. 1 minute. We'll wrap it up here in a bit. Here we go.
We launched the Future Fund and Future Fund Breakthrough, a new £375 million scheme to drive investment in innovative firms of the future. We're supporting fintechs to attract international talent by launching a new scale-up visa stream. We launched a digital sandbox with the FCA, a digital testing environment to support firms to develop proof of concepts. We're reforming the regulatory framework to support digitalization and emerging technology in financial services. We launched a package of support for UK fintechs expanding internationally and overseas firms establishing in the UK.
So there you have it. Wow. How it all came together, it just solidifies Quant moving forward. Every action has a reaction. We just need to reference things from the past, present, and obviously the future. Do me a favor, if you listen to the entire outline, simply type into the comments RSN, as in Regulated Settlement Network, and I'll know that you listened to the entire deep dive. Thought I'd bring this to you guys. Incredible news moving forward. Extremely bullish on QNT. The saying goes, know what you have, know why you hold it. The research trumps FUD 110%. We'll see you on the next one. If managing your crypto feels like solving a puzzle, it's time to switch to Decent Wallet. Say goodbye to complicated setups and hello to Decent Wallet, the hassle-free solution to your digital currency needs. With just a few taps, you can manage, track, and secure your crypto with unmatched ease. And here's the best part. Grab your Decent Wallet at a discounted price by using the referral link below. Don't miss out on making your crypto experience smoother and more secure.